All right, I'm here with Danni Deeds after All-Star Wrestling here in Vancouver. I just wanted to ask a few questions. I wanted to say it'd be an understatement to say that you're a veteran in the PNW here. What motivates you to stay and continue being part of the thriving BC wrestling scene?
The wrestling itself. You know, I've been a fan before I was a wrestler, and I think I've gotten to a point in my career now where giving back and watching the next generation develop and still be able to leave my footprint on that and be able to help in ways that I didn't think were there for me when I first started in some regards, and then other ways that were good, be able to pass that on as best I can before the physical stuff is done for me in the ring, for sure.
What do you think is the biggest reason this area has such an influx of talent and coaching?
I think that everyone has realized that we're at a point, especially probably post-pandemic, we can probably say, where everyone just realized maybe we really just have to do what's going to make us happy. There's so many people creatively, different promoters that just have different visions. And there's so much talent out here. We're not even touching it. With the 15 promotions in BC, we still don't even see all of the talent that are actually available in BC, Western Canada, even the Pacific Northwest. So I think people are just going for it. It's going to continue to boom. No pun intended, although there is boom pro wrestling. We'll give that. But the scene's going to continue to be this way, I think, for quite some time. It's exciting because once, as it's been quoted, Vancouver in the Pacific Northwest was the black hole of professional wrestling. And now it seldom goes by that there's not a show going on a weekend somewhere in the lower mainland or in the province, for that matter.
We as fans are very lucky. So thank you and all the fellow wrestlers for giving us those opportunities to come and see you guys perform. So, touching on the fact that, you talked about there's 15 promotions in BC and not everyone's being seen. You have a social media channel called Westward Wrestling.
Yes.
And you promote Canadian wrestling. What made you decide to put together this glossary of information together, and what's your favorite part of running that channel?
Just the fact that people will know about wrestling makes me excited. And the most common thing from a wrestling fan perspective or walking around or being a promoter is I didn't know there was wrestling in my area, which means that even though we have 15 promotions, we're not touching everybody, be it whether we're old school postering, whether we're using social media, whether it's word of mouth. If the large quote-unquote brands, say AEW and WWE, can come in and draw 13,000 people, why can't a crowd draw 300 out here? What is the difference in how is that being showcased? The idea behind Westward Wrestling, and it's the word on wrestling in Western Canada is where we got it. We did a word that way, we'll play on words, and we've expanded all the way to Manitoba. I wanted to give that as much as possible. And I like OCD, I like lists, I like doing little things. And if I can apply that and just give my promotional knowledge to everybody, then hopefully everybody wins. If a new product is seen by someone, a lot of these promotions I haven't even worked for. Some of them I don't even know the promoters personally, but it needs to be out there somewhere, in my opinion. And now we've got it on a ready rotation, and I'm happy that hopefully it's getting some circulation for sure.
Absolutely. So you talked about how, you're doing your part to try and grow the scene. You've been a fan, you've been a wrestler, you've been a promoter. What's the next goal for you?
Well, I'm going to focus on fatherhood for sure. I just had my first son though, and I'm excited about that. I definitely need to get more into daddy mode. In ring, I still got some bucket list items. I've got this Be Audacious tour going. Okay. I've got some gas in the tank still. I have some promotional aspirations myself, so you might be hearing from me real soon on that front also. But I think no matter what happens, even if my in-ring ever wraps up, you won't see the last of Danni Deeds.
Yeah. You talked about your Audacious tour, you called it. Where did you get the inspiration for that character, Audacious Danni Deeds?
It's the audacity, and a lot of that came from home. I get pretty lippy, I get pretty snarky, I get a little jokey, and the audacity of me, and my better half at home. I think a lot derived from her, and we created this together, and she's been a real backbone to that, and my merch, my support, and I'm grateful for that. But it was just me having the sheer audacity at home, day after day, and enough was enough. So
Yeah. So it's essentially yourself turned up to 11 in the ring.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to sound too cliche, but it absolutely works.
You know,
right?
real is real.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Okay. Current accolades include being the Vancouver Island Pro Wrestling Tag Champion, Thrash Wrestling BC Interior Champion. Excuse me. So we can catch you at a few promotions. Let us know your upcoming schedule.
All right, well, we were just wrapped up in Vancouver tonight. You'll see me June 15th in a steel cage here, 10-man steel cage back here in Vancouver. Next weekend, I am at Thrash Wrestling in Penticton on the 15th, Slam Loops on the 16th, and VIPW defending those tag titles on March 22nd. And then taking a couple of weeks off, we're going to spend some family time over Easter, and then right back at it. Thrash in Kelowna, All-Star in Abbotsford, and a whole bunch of other fun things in the works as we get in closer to summer. Some really big matches coming up, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
It's going to keep on going.
Train keeps rolling. Yeah. And one last thing, if you want to plug your social medias.
100% at Danni Deeds on all platforms. Danny with an I, D-A-N-N-I. Got to be a little different there, but Danni Deeds, all one word, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I guess it's X now, isn't it? That's how it is. And YouTube, Danni Deeds 604 for the occasional rap or promo I throw out there. But follow me, order merch, join me at a show, enjoy wrestling. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.